Hey friends, there comes a time in history when the world can no longer ignore when a country gets really strong. That's when the quiet whispers of doubt are replaced by the loud thunder of reality. And today, that moment belongs to India. India's rise can't be stopped because it is not built on just luck or quick success, but on hundreds of years of being tough, having strong culture and a rock-solid will to get better. When we look at history, countries that go through hard times and come out stronger from them often have a special energy that cannot easily be held back. India is one of those countries. For many years, it has gone through being ruled by others, attacks, being poor, and fighting within itself. But instead of breaking apart, it took in these challenges, learned from them, and got tougher. This toughness has now turned into a wave of progress that you can see in every part of the country's life. The rise can't be stopped because it is not stuck in one area or one moment. It is everywhere, from army to computers, from schools to new ideas, from culture to dealing with other countries. It is a rise built not only on the work of governments, but also on the hard work of over 1 billion people who won't accept limits on their dreams. India's money growth shows how this unstoppable energy works. Once people said it was a struggling economy, India is now one of the fastest growing in the world. It is a place for new businesses, a world leader in computer technology, and a center for new ideas that helps not just its own people, but the whole world. The unstoppable nature of this rise is shown in how India turns having little into having opportunity. Where there was once doubt, there is now determination. Where there was not enough resources, there is now being clever with what you have. India's space program is a bright example, doing amazing things with small budgets. This proves that being smart and having big dreams can beat having lots of money. When a country can send rockets to the moon and beyond while still helping millions get out of being poor, that country shows a growth that cannot be turned around. The unstoppable rise of India is also clear in how it deals with other countries. Once a voice on the side, India now sits at the center of world conversations, helping shape talks on climate change, trade, safety, and technology. Other powerful countries can no longer ignore it. They must talk with it, sometimes even change their plans around it. The very fear that India creates today in some places is not because it attacks, but because of its influence. That influence is a longer-lasting form of power, and India has earned it through not giving up, smart talking, and the strength of what it believes in. When a country has both hard power in the form of army and soft power in the form of culture, thinking, and world respect, its rise becomes a force that cannot be stopped. This rise can't be stopped also because it is powered by young people. With the world's largest young population, India holds inside it the energy, creativity, and drive of millions who see no limit to their big dreams. They are engineers, doctors, soldiers, scientists, artists, and business owners, all moving forward with a confidence that older generations were not allowed to have. This generational energy creates a cycle of growth that keeps going, making sure that progress is not just something that happens once, but a continuous process. India's rise can't be stopped because it is not forced from the outside. It is driven from the inside, carried by the shared spirit of its people who are determined to make their country a defining power of this century. From hard times to strength is the story of India's change, a journey that shows how bad times can become the foundation for greatness. For hundreds of years, India went through trials that would have broken many countries. From being ruled by others that took away its wealth and respect, to splitting up that tore its land and people apart, to being poor that seemed impossible to overcome. India has faced challenges of every kind, but through these struggles, a toughness was built, a determination was grown, and a shared spirit was woken up. Instead of being known by hardship, India chose to be known by the lessons it learned from those hard times. The very struggles that once held the country down have now become the strength that pushes it forward. India's history is filled with examples of how pain was changed into power. Being ruled by others may have taken away material wealth, but it made stronger the desire for ruling themselves and lit the spirit of freedom. Splitting up may have hurt the country, but it also forced it to accept unity in differences as a way to survive. Being poor may have tested the people's ability to keep going, but it also grew an unmatched ability to be clever, where people learned to do great things even with little means. Every obstacle became a teacher, every step back a stepping stone, and every loss an opportunity to build greater toughness. Countries that have never tasted struggle often fall apart when tested. But India has known struggle as its constant friend, and in accepting it, the country has built a foundation of strength that cannot be easily shaken. The change from struggles to strength is easy to see in the way India approaches progress today. Where others see impossibility, India sees opportunity because it has been trained to survive against all odds. In education, India has gone from most people not knowing how to read to becoming a world center of smart people, scientists, and people who invent new things. In technology, it has risen from depending on foreign systems to becoming a leader in computer programs, space research, and digital change. In army, it has gone from being weak to building one of the most capable and respected military forces in the world. Every success carries with it the weight of history, a reminder that nothing came easy, and that is what makes the success unshakable. But perhaps the greatest strength born out of struggle is the character of the people. Across generations, Indians have inherited the ability to keep going, adapt, and rise. The shared memory of hardship has given them a shared willpower that is unmatched. It has helped unity, not in being all the same, but in accepting differences as a source of strength. It has created a culture of toughness where step-backs do not discourage, but inspire even greater determination. From the ashes of struggle, India has risen not bitter but stronger, not broken but unbreakable. It is this change from struggles to strength that now forms the backbone of India's world rise, reminding the world that greatness is not handed down, it is earned in the fire of hard times. A blaze of progress captures the energy and movement that India shows today as it pushes forward in every area of development. What once looked like a slow march has now turned into a fast speed up, lighting up the world stage with achievements that were once thought impossible for a developing country. This blaze is not a sudden spark, but the result of many years of not giving up, planning, and an unending will to rise above limits. It can be seen in the labs where scientists push the boundaries of space and technology, in the factories where industries make things with unmatched speed, in the digital platforms that connect millions across huge distances, and in the classrooms where young minds are prepared to lead the future. The fire of progress is spreading not destructively, but as a force of creation, lighting up paths not just for India, but also for the world community. This progress shines most brightly in the field of technology and new ideas. India has moved from buying foreign technologies to making groundbreaking solutions. The digital revolution has connected villages and cities alike, bringing knowledge, opportunity, and services to millions who were once left out. New businesses grow in every corner, tackling world challenges with local smartness. From artificial intelligence to biotechnology, from clean energy to fintech, India's inventors are proving that the country is no longer following trends, but setting them. Space exploration stands as a glowing example of this blaze of progress, with missions to the moon and Mars that inspire the world. Each successful launch is a symbol that India's big dreams are not limited to its borders, but extend to the universe itself. The blaze is equally easy to see in infrastructure and economic growth. Roads, airports, subways, and high-speed rail projects are changing connectivity and reshaping how people live and work. Once struggling to provide basic needs, India is now building smart cities, using green energy, and opening doors for world investment. The economy, driven by one of the largest working populations on Earth, continues to surge, positioning India as one of the engines of world growth. Where once the story was of not having enough and depending on others, today it is of having plenty and being self-reliant. This vast change has not only raised standards of living, but has also given the people a renewed confidence in their country's future. Culturally and diplomatically, India's progress burns brightly as well. Its traditions, knowledge systems, and values are gaining recognition worldwide, even as it steps forward as a mediator and leader in international affairs. India's voice now carries weight in discussions on climate, security, trade, and world justice. It is not just the progress of a country, but of a civilization that has rediscovered its strength and is now expressing it with clarity and purpose. The blaze of progress can't be stopped because it is fueled by more than policy or leadership. It is powered by the spirit of over 1 billion people who refuse to be left behind. It is a shared fire that lights the way forward, making India's journey one of the most inspiring changes of our time. Power of will and unity is the foundation upon which India's strength truly rests, a force that is greater than any weapon, economy, or resource. Throughout history, countries have risen and fallen based on material wealth or military might. But what has kept India going through hundreds of years of trials is the unshakable will of its people and their ability to come together in times of crisis. India is a land of huge diversity, languages, religions, cultures, and traditions that could have easily broken apart its identity. But instead of division, this diversity has become a symbol of unity. The ability of more than 1 billion people to stand as one country, despite such differences, is in itself proof of the extraordinary power of unity. It is not being all the same that defines India's strength, but the harmony of many voices working toward one future. And when that harmony is guided by willpower, the result is unstoppable progress. The power of will is most clearly seen in how India has faced hard times. Whether it was hundreds of years of colonial taking advantage, devastating famines, or wars against unfriendly neighbors, India's spirit was never crushed. Even when stripped of resources and left in poverty, the shared determination of the people turned struggle into toughness. This willpower has continued to shape modern India. It is easy to see in the farmers who work hard against harsh conditions yet feed millions, in the business owners who build world businesses from modest beginnings, and in the scientists who achieve extraordinary results with limited means. Each achievement is rooted not in privilege, but in not giving up. And it is this persistence that gives India a strength far deeper than material power. Unity adds another dimension to this strength. Despite its diversity, India's people have found a way to rally together under the idea of a shared destiny. The independence movement is perhaps the greatest example of this, when millions from every background united with one voice against colonial rule. That unity born out of shared struggle continues to define the character of the country. In times of external threat or internal challenge, the people of India naturally come together, proving time and again that unity is the greatest shield against division. This power has enabled the country to protect its democracy, protect its borders, and keep its identity in a world that constantly changes. The combination of will and unity is what transforms India into a country that inspires both respect and fear on the world stage. Will alone could make progress possible, but unity ensures that progress is lasting and includes everyone. It binds generations together, allowing young and old, rich and poor, urban and rural to share in the same vision. It provides stability in times of trouble and strength in times of trial. The power of will and unity is not something that can be forced from outside. It is born within the hearts of the people. This is why India's journey forward cannot be stopped, for it is carried not by a few, but by the shared determination of 1 billion voices moving together. Demanding recognition is the natural outcome of India's long journey from silence to strength, from being overlooked to becoming unavoidable on the world stage. For many years, India was often treated as a background player in world affairs, acknowledged for its size and culture, but rarely seen as a decisive power. That perception was partly a result of colonial leftovers, economic struggles, and a focus on internal rebuilding. But as India has risen in every area, economic, military, technological, cultural, it no longer waits for validation from others. Instead, it asserts its rightful place with confidence, reminding the world that recognition is not a gift to be given, but a status to be earned and claimed. When a country builds its influence through sacrifice, innovation, and toughness, it reaches a point where its presence cannot be ignored. And that is where India stands today. This demand for recognition is not about pride alone, but about fairness. India has contributed hugely to world peace, to science, to culture, and to human progress. Yet for too long it was denied the seat at the table where major decisions were made. Whether it is in the United Nations Security Council, international trade talks, or climate summits, India's role is no longer secondary. With one of the largest economies, one of the most capable militaries, and the largest democracy in the world, India now insists that its voice must carry equal weight in shaping the rules of the future. It is not an ask, it is an assertion that comes from strength. Recognition, therefore, is about making sure that world systems reflect reality, not outdated hierarchies that fail to account for the rise of new powers. The demand for recognition is also rooted in the confidence of the Indian people, a country of over 1 billion individuals, most of them young and ambitious, refuses to accept that their future should be dictated by others. They see themselves not as followers, but as leaders, as creators of innovation, as guardians of culture, and as participants in defining humanity's next chapter. This shared confidence translates into diplomacy that is firm, leadership that is decisive, and policies that reflect national interest first. The world is beginning to understand that India cannot be sidelined because it has the determination and the influence to shape outcomes. The demand is not loud arrogance. It is quiet certainty, a reminder that respect comes not from words, but from undeniable strength. On the world stage, this demand is easy to see in how India engages with friends and rivals alike. It does not bow to pressure from powerful blocs, but instead makes its own path, choosing cooperation where it aligns with its vision and resistance where it does not. Whether dealing with technology, giants, energy suppliers, or security partnerships, India makes it clear that it is not a junior partner, but an equal. This posture of demanding recognition signals maturity, self-respect, and vision. It reflects a country that has earned its place at the center of the world order, a country that has no intention of returning to the shadows of history. The world's biggest fear, the world's greatest possibility, is the paradox that India represents as it rises in power and influence. On one side, countries look at India's growing strength with unease, aware that its military capabilities, technological advancements, and huge population give it the ability to shift the world balance of power. Fear comes from uncertainty, from the recognition that India's rise could challenge old hierarchies and force established powers to adapt to a new reality. Yet on the other side, the very things that generate fear also create hope, because India's growth carries within it the potential to solve problems that affect not just itself, but the entire planet. This duality, fear and possibility, makes India one of the most consequential countries of the 21st century. The fear emerges from India's scale and determination. 1 billion people working with purpose create a force that no rival can easily contain. When those billions are educated, connected, and driven by ambition, they become not just a workforce, but a powerhouse of innovation and toughness. Add to this a strong defense system, nuclear capability, and growing dominance in space and cyber technologies, and it is clear why some see India's rise as a threat to existing powers. Fear also arises from India's independence in decision-making. It refuses to align blindly with any bloc, choosing instead to assert its own path. That autonomy makes it unpredictable to those who are used to commanding influence over smaller countries, and unpredictability is always a source of fear in world politics. politics. Yet the other side of the story is possibility. India is home to the largest young population in the world, a demographic that can fuel progress in science, innovation, and sustainable growth for many years. This human resource, when nurtured, becomes a gift to the world community, producing ideas and solutions that cross borders. India has already excelled in fields like information technology, affordable healthcare, and space exploration, where its achievements have benefited many countries beyond its own. The possibility lies in India's unique ability to combine tradition with modernity, to take lessons from an ancient civilization while applying them to modern challenges. In a time when the world faces climate change, economic inequality, and world instability, a country with India's vision and scale could hold keys to answers others have not found. The duality of fear and possibility is what makes India's rise so significant. Fear keeps the world alert, reminding countries that being lazy is no longer an option. Possibility inspires hope, reminding humanity that progress is possible even against great odds. India does not simply represent a growing power, it represents a choice for the world. To see its rise only as a threat is to overlook the opportunity for collaboration, innovation, and shared growth. To see it only as a possibility without acknowledging its strength is to underestimate the gravity of its influence. It is in this balance that the true meaning of India's journey lies, standing as both a warning to those who cling to the past and a promise to those who dare to imagine a better future.